Hey listeners, this is Mike Morford, creator of The Murder of My Family. You may have noticed that over the last several weeks there haven't been new episodes of the show. If you recall, in 2024, I had to step away from hosting duties on the show. I continued to produce the show with Eric Cater-Landin hosting it. Unfortunately, Eric had to step away from the show due to personal reasons, and I wish him all the best. That's left me with a difficult decision: to end the podcast. Unfortunately, I just don't have the bandwidth and necessary time to keep the show going. I won't lie, the stories of all the lost lives we've shared on the show have taken a personal toll on me as well, and they've affected me greatly. That being said, I'd like to say thank you to the families and guests that have come on the podcast over the past 5+ years to share their stories. The fact that you put your trust and faith in us to help share your stories in a tasteful and respectful manner means a lot to me, and I'll be forever grateful. I started this show to get to know the people behind the news headlines who lost their lives. They were more than just a blurb in a headline. In addition, their families opened up about the ripple effect that their loved ones' deaths had on them, and how they dealt with it, both in the short term and long term. I hope that some of the stories we've covered and some of the guests we've had on have helped listeners in some way. The Murder of My Family, being an indie podcast, was never a giant podcast in the way of audience size or on the charts. That being said, people noticed the show and the role that it served. Magazines like Cosmopolitan and Marie Claire were kind enough to include The Murder of My Family on their recommended podcast list. And while it's always nice to receive recognition for your work, it was never the goal of the show to receive accolades. Rather, it was to provide loved ones of murder victims a platform to share their stories. With 163 episodes, I hope we were able to accomplish that goal. Once again, to the dozens and dozens of families that trusted us to share your stories, thank you. It has been our honor. To our listeners, thank you for your support of the show and our guest. Although there won't be any new episodes of The Murder of My Family, I'd like to invite listeners to stay subscribed to the show, as we'll be bringing you previews of other great shows, as well as new podcast projects from my network, AbJack Entertainment. Thank you all again. This is Mike Morford reminding you one last time to remember that every murder victim means something to somebody.